Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Other Choice podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany, and with me today, I have Amber Roseboom, who is our president here at Right to Life. This is a super exciting time because not only have we relaunched our ad campaign 3 days ago, but this is also our debut episode of our very first video podcast in all of the history of Right to Life.
I know.
Yeah. There are so many things that are happening that are so exciting here at Right to Life. What stands out to you as of late?
That's a great question. And I agree, there is so much exciting that's happening in our organization and across the state, really across the entire pro-life movement. I think the thing that stands out to me is the level of enthusiasm among people within our organization, all across the state, the volunteers, the affiliates, the supporters, the staff. There's so much enthusiasm. And it's interesting too, we think about the moment that we're in, and I can't think of a time in which the unborn child has been such a central part of the national discussion.
Yeah.
That the issue has taken center stage in the way that it has. And I think for a lot of our listeners, and even for us, we think, yeah, but it's been hard. You know, there's been such a push to try and drive abortion or normalize abortion even as a good. And so that can be disappointing. But just the fact that it's so central to the national discussion is such an incredible opportunity for us.
Yeah.
And people are thinking about the issue in a way that they maybe haven't in recent history. And so I really think we're taking that opportunity. And because of the enthusiasm on our side, you're seeing a lot of growth in our movement. And that's from every background and race and ethnicity and age. There's just so much new support. And, My Gen Leads, that's gaining so much traction and building across the state. And it's extraordinary to be part of and to watch.
Yes, I agree. We're gaining so much ground, especially with our reach. And like you said, across different ethnicities and also My Gen Leads, we're reaching so many students. And it's so important with our younger generations, especially who may be getting fed certain information through the school system and everything else to make sure that they're having a very trustworthy and solid source of information, like here at Right to Life.
Absolutely. I think too, Tiffany, just about a lot of the staff, like you, people who just graduated college, and you could have made a decision to go anywhere. I mean, I could go through the whole list. You, Danny, Jaslyn, Gracie, the list goes on. And you made a decision to serve this mission, to come here and be part of that. That alone excites me.
Yeah. And I will say, it's such a rewarding place to be able to work here, to know that, all jobs are important, but it's so rewarding to know that the work that I'm doing is helping make an impact and a difference on our society.
And it is, absolutely.
So I would like to talk a little bit about our new ad campaign that actually just launched on June 2, which was 4 days ago. What inspired the new ads, and can you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. At the genesis of it really is what inspires all of our work, our commitment to women and to the unborn. And what inspired the ads and the direction of these ads, I think, is really the reality of the moment. And as you know, Tiffany, almost 3 years ago, Proposal 3 passed, legalizing abortion in Michigan for any reason at any point. And I say it like that because it's so hard, I think, to reconcile ourselves to that reality. Any reason at any point in a woman's pregnancy. And so we know still that choice is something that Americans, that Michiganders value. And that's so important to this issue because for choice to exist, women must have every opportunity to make a choice for life. And we're committed to making sure that that's the reality in our state. And because of the 100 pregnancy resource centers across communities in our state. We know that that's a reality. And so we're doing everything we can to make sure that people can get connected to a pregnancy resource center, are aware of the supports that exist, not just through pregnancy, but after, post-pregnancy, to really stand with, to walk shoulder to shoulder with women through this time. And, you know, there's a reality that when a woman finds out she's unexpectedly pregnant, she's facing an unplanned pregnancy, oftentimes there's a lot of fear and uncertainty that goes with that. And I think Planned Parenthood really takes advantage of that. And it presents women, it feeds into that fear. And it presents women with one option. And that's death, you know, that's abortion. And that's really sad for the woman.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, it's not only sad that we're losing the life of an unborn child, but it's sad for that woman to go through that and to feel that she has no other option. And we know that's not the case. And so we're presenting her with a life-affirming path forward. And there's so much hope and joy that's wrapped up in that.
Yes, I completely agree with what you said. And there's so many more pregnancy resource centers and just resources that are readily available for women who are going through an unplanned pregnancy. And like you said before, so many times they believe their only option is an abortion, and it's the only option that they're told about and that they're given. And to truly have a choice, you need to be able to have the opportunity to either make the choice for life or go the other direction. And yeah, we do all we can to help promote life-affirming options.
Absolutely. And, you know, something else that we talk about, so our ads, as you know, they end with a helpline that goes to a pregnancy resource center, essentially a clearinghouse that connects women. It meets her in the moment and offers her some guidance and counseling in that moment, but it connects her for long-term support with a local pregnancy resource center. And beyond that, you know, we always talk about this, adoption really is a beautiful option. There are so many parents, couples looking to adopt a child. So that's a great, you know, that's a great route as well.
And not only for the child who is in a position of being able to be adopted, it's also helpful for parents who may be struggling to have children. They can have that opportunity to raise a child.
Absolutely.
Which is also very encouraging. When we talk about reaching and changing hearts, what is the most effective way that you believe is to do that?
I think that's a great question, because a lot of times when we think about, we want to change the culture, we want to save lives, we just think about the end that we want, and we don't really think about where do we start. And I think the most important place to start is to listen. And to understand. And that's to listen and understand where we are in our culture, you know, so we understand what women, what the broader public, what they're thinking about when they think about facing an unplanned pregnancy, potentially welcoming life, growing a family, welcoming motherhood, all those different things. So it's listening and understanding. And then it's engaging where the culture or the woman, the individual we're speaking with, where they are. Not starting out where we are, but really engaging where they are. Speaking the truth. This phrase sometimes I think can be overused, but it's so relevant. Speaking the truth truly in love. Because if we're speaking the truth without love, we turn people away. And so we want to meet them where they are and speak the truth in love. And I think that's one of the things that's so beautiful about our approach right now. And that's, you know, this life, the other choice messaging and the ads, which really meet a woman where she is if she's facing an unplanned pregnancy, and encourage and invite another choice, invite her to explore a choice for life. As we think about this, I also think of, and I can't recall the entire quote, and I'm going to paraphrase too. How about that?
Yeah, that's
good. But you know, we think about, do we counter fear with fear, or do we counter fear with hope and love? Do we counter anxiety with an image or even a truth that increases anxiety, or do we counter that anxiety with a truth that offers hope and peace? And those concepts, I mean, I really hope that our listeners, I know you because you're here, you've already thought about these things, but that's something that I think is a really worthwhile thought process to explore as we engage in our communities with, I mean, not just, we're talking about our ad campaign and our website and all these things, and they're important and they're impactful. But when we think about how do I engage in a discussion, and sometimes we feel, on the defense. And so it impacts our ability to speak with compassion and with love, and also not feel like this conversation needs to end in them changing their position. What we're looking for is lasting, lasting, real honest change. And that takes time, particularly on an issue like this.
Yeah, it does. And definitely it's a very different situation when you are speaking with people independently versus speaking for an organization.
Absolutely.
Like we're doing right now. And yeah, I completely agree exactly with what you said.
Absolutely.
What excites you most about where a movement is? We've grown so much since this organization has started. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on it.
Thanks for asking that.
Yeah.
There's a lot that really excites me. I think it can be easy, me personally, sometimes I'm focused on the challenges. What do we need to change? But there's so much opportunity in this moment. Our movement, and Right to Life of Michigan in particular, we have such an incredible legacy. And it's important that we not forget that. And all the achievements that have been made over the last 50 plus years. And now post Dobbs and post Proposal 3, in a post Roe environment with Dobbs and now with Proposal 3 having passed, we're in a moment in which we really need to reshape our movement and how we engage in the public. And so we need to keep what works, but really reshape our messaging, our approaches, our tactics. But we need to be true to our principles. And those principles that guided us in the early days continue to guide us now. And that's, we're always speaking truth, but how are we doing it? And again, we're doing it with love. We're doing it with compassion for the movement. And we're always doing it peacefully. Violence is never an acceptable approach. No. It wasn't then, and it isn't now. Yeah. And that's absolutely critical and central, kind of a guiding light as we look at the path forward.
If anyone viewing this episode right now could do one thing, what is it that you would ask them to do?
I'm always pushing the envelope. I'm going to ask two things.
Okay.
I would ask that someone go to our website, because as you know, we completely redid our website last year, and spend a little time looking at it, and not just because of what it may offer you, the individual looking at it, but how it equips you to talk about the issue in your community. Because that can always be the challenge. We want to do something, we want to say something, but we're like, well, how do I bring it up? It can sometimes be a tricky issue to talk about. And there's so much content on our website that equips people to do that. And I think there's probably 3 areas that I would have people go. 1, take a look at our homepage. Go and look at our videos. And the videos, we have 2 of the ads that we're running right now, Test and Courage. Those videos are on our website. And then I would also take a look at our press releases, because there's a lot that speaks to, it's kind of news you can use, what are breaking issues in our state and how are we responding to it. Those are critical. And then if someone that really equips you to go and then talk to your friends, your neighbors, your parents, your kids, anyone in your community. And then I think just to continue to equip a listener moving forward, we have a weekly email newsletter that goes out on Thursday. It's called the Pro-Life Update. Yep. And you can sign up for that on our homepage. And we do not pepper people with emails. If I'm like everybody else, I get tons and tons of emails, and then you just quit reading the emails because there are so many. You think, well, that's not relevant. It's one email a week, and it's always relevant to what's going on. So sometimes it's a response or an update to what's going on either in Washington, here in our state, or in a community. And then it's also information about what we've got going on. So, we have our state conference coming in September, and we also have, I'm so excited to say, our second March for Life, our second Michigan March for Life. That's on November 6th in Lansing at the state capitol. Last time, so we do it every 2 years. So the first one was in 2023. And last time we had approximately 4,000 people there. So we're really excited, hoping for a strong showing this year too. Lots of great speakers already lined up. Also, you can find that on our website. But there's so much going on, and people can plug in however they want to.
Yes, there are so many great resources that are on our website, just like Amber mentioned. Lots of resources that can help you become more confident in talking with people who are facing an unplanned pregnancy. And if you'd like to share in our mission, if you'd like to volunteer, or if you'd like to donate to our ad campaign, you can go to rtl.org/donate, and there's a little button that says Education Fund, and you can click that.
That's such a great point, because the ad campaign is up and it stays up as long as we have the funds. So right now we'll be up through July at some point, and the more resources that come in, the longer the ad campaign is able to stay up and reach women and connect them to life-affirming options and literally save lives in real time. That happened last year. We have a whole host of statistics we can talk about on another episode.
Yes.
At the initial launch of the ad campaign, and we trust, of course, that that's going to happen again now that it's already happening.
Yes, so if you would like to donate, make sure, again, go to rtl.org/donate, and you can click that little Ed Fund button, and you can give whatever amount you would like to contribute to our ad campaign. Every donation helps, and we appreciate it greatly.
That's exactly right. Thank you. And thanks to all of our listeners, all of our supporters who have already contributed sacrificially. That money goes right out the door to help to reach women and to save lives. So it's pretty exciting.
Yes. Thank you again to all of our listeners and for watching this episode of our podcast. And thank you to Amber for joining us. Be sure to tune in every 2 weeks for a new episode with a brand new guest and new content. And until next time, I'm Tiffany, and this is The Other Choice.